Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who sits on that committee. Senator Graham, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Do you believe that this is going to go forward? What are the indications from her attorneys? Is this going to happen?
If it doesn't happen, I'll be surprised because they've been asking to be heard. They're going to be heard if they want to. They're not going to pick our lawyer, and they're not going to decide who goes first. You know, Senator Grassley's bent over backwards to be fair. Not 1 ounce of fairness have come from our Democratic colleagues about an FBI investigation. If you really wanted one, why didn't you tell us in July when you first got this accusation? What's the FBI going to investigate? You can't tell the FBI the month it happened. You can't tell the FBI where it happened. What are they supposed to do? Go talk to everybody in Maryland in 1982? I have never. Judge Kavanaugh says he wants a fair process. You come to the wrong town at the wrong time.
Well, what do you say to those who criticize you for that attitude about it, who say, you know, that you're not open to listening to what she has to say?
I would say this. If you really believe this was a serious accusation, why didn't you bring it forward in July? Dr. Ford is being abused as much as anybody else. She said she didn't want to come forward. Somebody on the other side leaked her name, not us. She's been a victim of this as much as Kavanaugh has. And here's what I'm telling your audience. This is an accusation that's 35 years old. You can't tell me where it happened and when it happened, and everybody named in terms of having been there say it didn't happen. So what am I supposed to do?
One of the questions is about the burden, who the burden is
right
on. And Senator Chris Coons said something quite remarkable about this. Here he is.
It is Judge Kavanaugh who is seeking a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court and who I think now bears the burden of disproving these allegations rather than Dr. Ford and Ms. Ramirez.
Is that how it works?
I must have missed something in law school. So here's what Chris is saying, and I like Chris. Judge Kavanaugh, you have to prove to me that you were not at a party 35 years ago and you didn't sexually assault somebody at that party, but I can't tell you where it was and when it was. And here's what Kavanaugh said: I've never sexually assaulted anybody, anywhere, anytime, but under this construct, he'll have to prove 35 years ago he wasn't at a party, and they won't tell him when it was and where it was. And how are you supposed to do that?
It's a good question. It's interesting. Joe Biden in 1991 said this about the presumption of innocence. Watch this.
Judge, with me from the beginning and at this moment until the end, the presumption is with you.
It's remarkable.
Well, we miss Joe Biden. Here's the presumption. Anything Trump, fair game. No rules when it comes to Trump or his nominees. They knew about this in July. They sat on it. We have an allegation that's collapsing. I've never been more upset than I am now. I voted for Sotomayor and Kagan. I didn't do this to them. Judge Kavanaugh doesn't deserve this. Ms. Ford doesn't deserve what's happened to her. We're going to play this out. And I can tell everybody who's listening that everything about Judge Kavanaugh screams, this is not true. He is not Bill Cosby. He is not Weinstein. He's lived a good life. This is an allegation 35 years old that's unverified, and I'm not going to ruin his life based on that. Show me something credible. They've yet to do it.
With regard to the FBI investigation, do we have time to play this one other soundbite here? All right, let's play Joe Biden also in 1991 talking about the role of an FBI investigation. Watch this.
FBI explicitly does not, in this or any other case, reach a conclusion. Period. So when people wave an FBI report before you, understand, they do not reach conclusions.
Wow. That's incredible. Everyone on one side of the aisle on the Hill is screaming for an FBI investigation. And Joe Biden, who is pretty much the standard bearer of the Democratic Party, says quite clearly there that that is simply not what they do.
The other side had this in July. They went 7 weeks without bringing it up. They drop it a week, 3 or 4 days before we vote. The FBI has told me we don't know how to help you. We don't know where to go. We don't know what town to go. We don't know what month to look at. We're not even sure about the year. So this is just an excuse to destroy this man's life. This is not about fairness. This is about destroying Brett Kavanaugh to make sure Trump doesn't get a second pick. It's about no more, no less, and in the process, they're destroying Ms. Ford too, in my view. Something may have happened to her. I don't know her. I'm respectful of people who've gone through bad experiences, but I have to use some common sense here. And I've been a lawyer all my life, and you could not get a warrant based on this allegation. You can't tell me when it happened, where it happened, and everybody named says it didn't happen.
Know the format. You're each going to get 5 minutes. How's this going to work with this other attorney involved, and why?
We're going to basically give her our time. It's pretty hard to interview somebody effectively in 5 minutes and stop. So we're going to have a professional litigator who is trained to do this.
Who is this person?
I'll let the committee tell you about it. It'll be a trained professional. We're not trying to make politics out of this. We're trying to make sure that 11 politicians are not in the limelight here.
So none of you will question at all?
If I have a question, I'm sure I will ask it, but I want to turn it over to the person who has more experience than I do. I'm trying to tell people that this bothers me. I voted for their nominees. I never would have thought to do this to Sotomayor and Kagan. These allegations are collapsing. The second allegation couldn't even make it in the New York Times. And only God knows what Avenatti's going to say. Everything in this man's life screams that he's been respectful to women. When he's been in charge of women in their careers, they have nothing but great things to say.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we will see a repeat from Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, the senators who tried to halt the proceedings? Are they going to say Thursday morning, no way, we want an FBI investigation, we are not going to let this move forward?
Come Thursday morning, Ms. Ford, Dr. Ford, will have a chance to come and tell the committee in her own words what happened. Kavanaugh will have a chance to respond, and we can ask questions. We're not going to move it. We're not going to delay it. This is like an arsonist complaining about a fire. These are the people who put us in this box.
And the vote will begin on Friday.
And this vote will be Friday. And unless something new comes out that gives veracity to a 35-year-old claim that I don't have today, I'm moving forward.
All right. Thank you very much.